All right, good evening, everybody. It is Michelle Poe here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Dr. Mark Gordon here, actually in Sioux Falls, South Dakota as well. It's such an honor to be here with you tonight on this June 25th already. I cannot believe it is almost the 4th of July and it's the end of June. That is just mind-blowing to me. I want to just welcome everybody that is on here, and if you're a new family member here with Lifevantage, we especially welcome you. This opportunity, this company, the people, the products, it is an absolute perfect storm, and you could not be at a better place. And so reach out to all of us if we have not met you yet. We are all here to help you and guide you and support you along the way, because Lord knows, Shawn and I got introduced to this 6 years ago and had no clue about network marketing, no clue what NRF2 activation, glutathione, superoxide dismutase, NRF1, any of that stuff meant. But we knew that we had a passion for helping people. We knew that the science was legit. Right, Dr. Gordon? He was the first meeting that I went to, and he saw that the American Heart Association had written up about protandim. And from that point on, I was in, as my father died of a heart attack at the age of 42. And then seeing that it's, on the NASDAQ and meeting the people of this company, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the people, and that I can guarantee you. So if you're new, plug into the system. These are here every single Sunday night at 8:30 Central. Every Monday, Carrie Dickey and Stu Brody have their motivational call at 11 o'clock Central. Every Thursday night, there is a live opportunity call that an elite distributor does. And we assume that the guest has seen the ABC Primetime Investigative Report, and then you put your guest on there. And then when that is over, you put them on the phone with any of your team. Follow up with them, and that's how Shawn and I honestly built our business in the beginning, was that way. And there are so many Zoom presentations, recorded ones and live ones that are happening right now that you can plug them into. The resources that you have here are absolutely unbelievable. The opportunity is, it's mind-blowing. I am more excited today than what I was 6 years ago. So just plug into the system and know you are at the right place at the right time. I know that's a cheesy saying, but it's absolutely true. Elite Academy, you guys, get there. If you're not registered, make sure that you get there. It is July 6th through the 8th in Denver, Colorado. Go to lifevantage.com at the very bottom and register. I can tell you, and Dr. Gordon would say the same thing, that if we wouldn't have gone to that event, we had gone 2 weeks after we first enrolled, not thinking we were going to do this business. That event changed our life. Get there. Saturday night, many of you may have seen some emails going out or getting some texts or calls from your team. We are having a party. And I tell you what, I said that the people of Lifevantage like to have a good time. This is a place where you are going to get together with your team and others in the company. You're going to hear stories of that individual. This is a place where you get their phone numbers, and it's not just for you. It's for building, helping your team down the road. You're going to have people down the road that are going to say, oh my gosh, I have this amazing stay-at-home mom, and I would love to connect her with another stay-at-home mom who this business has helped with. Well, you're going to meet a stay-at-home mom at this event, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can connect you with this person. Or I can connect you with this person who had a hesitation about network marketing. Or, somebody who couldn't sleep. Well, let me connect you with this person that couldn't sleep, because they said after 2-3 weeks on our products that they would take this for the rest of their life because their sleep completely changed. I always say we are connectors. And that's the biggest thing. If you can become an incredible connector, you just pull yourself out of the equation, find what the person in front of you needs, and connect them with someone. This is going to be a blast for you. Okay, so make sure you're at that party. Tickets are going up tomorrow, actually late tonight. So make sure you get your ticket if you haven't tonight, right when we're done with this. Okay, if you're not sure where to go, get with anybody on your team, and they'll direct you where to go. You see, I mentioned the Monday call. All right, so we're going to be talking. Oh, one last thing. Today is the 25th of June, which means our auto ships. Final auto ships went out today. Super exciting. Track all your auto ships, you guys. That also means that all of your customers' orders have gone out for the month. Okay, so go into your back office and check to make sure that your customers' orders have gone through. If for some reason they have not, give them a call, send them a message. I'm telling you, more times than not, there's something wrong with their credit card. something comes up and they're gonna thank you. So don't assume that they just decided to cancel it. Go into it with the mindset that you are helping them, and they'll be super grateful that you reached out to them and you can help them get their order back on track, okay? And what we always do on the 27th of every month is we do a customer appreciation day where we call our people, we thank them, we send them little handwritten notes, send them maybe, if they're not on Axio, we send them a handwritten note and send them some Axio, some brain food to get them going. Not only is that a great thing to build that relationship and keep them excited about what we have, what it will also do is maybe get them to be blessed to have more of our amazing products in their body, okay? All right, so we're gonna be talking tonight about resolving concerns or hesitations or objections. And then we're gonna have Dr. Mark Gordon talk to us a little bit about fat burn and the probiotic and the benefits of it. So I don't have a ton of time, but I'm going to go as quickly as I can, so I'm sorry if I talk fast. But the biggest thing in the short amount of time that I have tonight is I want you to remember that this business is not about us. It is about the person that is right in front of us, okay? So if a person has any sort of objection or hesitation, don't take it personal. It's about them, and there's a reason that they have that. And you go in there and listen to them, ask more questions. We always say God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? So we want to listen and ask a lot of questions. And it's a great thing if people have questions and they're listening and they want to know more information. Some of those people with the biggest hesitations or questions many times end up being some of the strongest forces for what we have here, because they're asking and they're digging and they're trying to disprove things, and what they find is that, again, like I said in the beginning, these products are unbelievable and everybody on the planet needs them. This business is legit, it's for real, and they're gonna learn that residual income is definitely something that they're gonna want. And Zig Ziglar has this saying that you can have everything in life that you want if you just help other people get what they want. So you need to find what it is that they need, what do they want, and why are they having those hesitations. So think of any hesitations as a positive, because it might be your blue M&M, as Carrie Dickey has taught us about. During this time of hesitations and whatnot as well, it's a time where you're building trust. It's a time where you're going to get insight as to what they really, really need, okay? I don't know if you guys have seen or heard of this book. Let's see, Network Marketing, The View from Venus by our very own Carrie Dickey. If you want to become bulletproof, if you want to become a master in network marketing, and if you really want to know how you can help people, I highly suggest getting this book. I've listened and read so many books. This one is absolutely incredible, and it has different chapters, you guys, that you want to become really good at. And one of them in here has to do with resolving concerns. And so definitely go out and get this book if you don't have it. It's on Amazon, or you can download it on Audible. And so some of the questions that we often get are, I'm not a salesperson. I don't have time to do this business. Is this multi-level marketing? Is the market saturated? And I don't have money. Now, I know there's many others, and we can definitely practice and talk about these at a later time. But those are the most common questions or objections that people have. So if you can go through and master those, you'll be doing great. I'm going to kind of go through something called I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but what I found is. I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but what I found is. So I'm going to go through a couple of those for you, and then I'm going to read a little bit in here, but again, get this book. So I'm not a salesperson. I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but what I found is when you find out what we have our hands on here, you feel a genuine responsibility just to share it with everybody. And again, it's not a pushy thing. It's not a salesy thing. And you never ever want to push back on somebody or become defensive. You just want to listen and smile When you smile, it just lets your guard down. And I always say, you know what, this may or may not be for you, but here's what it is. And people become attracted to that, right? I don't have time to do this business. Same thing. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. But seriously, what I found is that Shawn and I became so passionate about these products and learned about this business that when we were out just talking to people, and when we were hearing about any health issues or hearing about, you know, they want to be home with their kids, we just had to share the information. It's just like a good book, you guys, or a good movie, or if we have, you know, Dr. Mark, who's an incredible cardiologist, or, you know, anybody like that. We want to share what's out there with people. We don't get paid to share those things, right? But we naturally share it when we become passionate. Is this multi-level marketing? I know how you feel. I felt the same way. But what I found is when you have a product, a company, and the timing and the people of this, like this company, there is no greater business out there. And then here's why, okay? Is the market saturated? I can tell you honestly, I didn't know what that really meant because I had never done network marketing before and never had thought about it. So you could say something, because you always have to be true to who you are. You know what? I heard somebody ask that same question, and what I found was that until every single person on the planet is taking Protandim, it's not saturated. So that's such an awesome question. But when you find out what our products are, you're going to be blown away. And then you can give them a statistic. I don't have the money. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. But what I found is that we need these products and we need this residual business. If we're not making money while we're sleeping, we're going to be working till the day that we die. You know, we need to be there for our family, for our friends when they need us most, and just kind of go through some of that process. 8:44 already, Dr. Mark.
I'm ready when you are.
Time just flies. You guys, I had intentions of doing so many more things here, but there's also a site called theprovenplan.com, and if you go into the training vault, you can actually find specific, you know, categories like resolving concerns, and you can listen to different elite distributors talk about how they resolve them. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to you. I hope that helped a little bit for some of you out there. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. What I found is, or another one that's very positive, and then I'll turn it over to you, is if I would you. So let me give you one example. Let's see, I'm not a salesperson. So here's one response to it. Jill, I thank you again for opening up to me today. I really hear you when you were telling me that selling is not something that you feel comfortable doing. And I can definitely appreciate that. I really don't see myself as a salesperson either. Let me ask you this. If I can show you how I build a network marketing business without selling, would you be interested in moving forward with me? In other words, is this the only thing that you're struggling with, or is this something else that might be stopping you from joining my team? Again, this book is absolutely amazing. You have unlimited resources within your team, so just reach out and practice. And again, you guys, be you. People know when you are you. Use third-party validation and just plug into this system, because when you plug into it, you'll become bulletproof. Your belief will be high, and you will become unstoppable and bless thousands upon thousands of people. So Dr. Mark Gordon is here from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a retired cardiologist. He's somebody that I did not know until we got into this business, and now he lives just a mile from me, and he has a wealth of knowledge. And you guys, this man, it probably knows more about NERF2 and nutrigenomics than 99% of physicians in the world. And that's no joke. So take this information, listen to him, replay it, and just, you know, learn it again, and use the team to and on those three-way calls so that you can hear it and earn while you learn. All right, Dr. Gordon, take it over.
Michelle, can you see my slides on there?
We sure can.
Okay, fantastic. So guys, what I want to do with you tonight is talk about the probiotic and the fat burn specifically. as those are really two of the key components with our weight management system, physique. And much of what I'm going to talk about here tonight, I gave at the science seminar at Elite Academy in Nashville back in February of 2016. So if you heard this back then, this is going to be a bit of a repeat, but I think it's important information to hear again and again, so that as you go out and you're talking to your prospects about this, you have a better understanding of the importance of the probiotic and the fat burn and exactly how it is that they work with a weight management system. So if we look at some statistics or some definitions of obesity, you can see that it's a body mass index of greater than 30, and if you're between 25 and 30, you're considered overweight. Now, there's some problems with body mass index in that that's not a direct measure of fat, but it's a good tool, and it's one that's used in all weight management systems. So it's something that we need to pay attention to. And if you look at the statistics about obesity, 36% of adults in the US are considered obese and 17% of children. And it goes up as people get older. And if you look at the costs of obesity, it's huge. 150 billion in the US alone are spent because of obesity. And this is something that's only going to get worse in the future. So if you look at the trends in obesity from 1990 until 2010, I mean, look at the coloring in these maps, and you can see how there's just basically become an epidemic of obesity, particularly in the South. Look at Texas, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, and so forth. And it's only going to spread through the entire country. We need to get a handle on this, and there's a lot of reasons for obesity. We're not going to get into that today. And some people say, well, I'm just big boned. Well, this kind of shows you that that's not really the case. There is what's called the thrifty gene hypothesis, and this kind of explains why we have this epidemic of obesity. And that is, when we were running around in the fields and stuff, and we were hunters and gatherers, we used the food that we could get to kind of build up our fat stores, so that when we reached a time when food was not plentiful, we could live off our fat stores. But the problem is, since there's an abundance of food for us all now, that those thrifty genes store fat all the time. And if you're eating too much, obviously that puts on the weight, and that puts on the extra fat, and we just don't get rid of it because we don't have those periods of famine and drought like we did as we were, running around in the fields as hunters and gatherers. Now, the really bad kind of fat is visceral fat, and that's the fat that's around the organs. There's subcutaneous fat, which is fat that's just underneath the skin, and that's bad more from a cosmetic perspective, but it's the visceral fat that's really the nasty actor here, okay? And you can see the pictures of the heart there on the right and on the left there. One of them has a lot more fat on it than the other. But the fat in the belly is really the bad kind of fat, the fat that surrounds our organs, our intestines, our liver, all of that kind of stuff. That actually is a metabolically active type of fat that causes all sorts of problems. So here's just a picture of that fat that's around the intestines, around the small intestines, the visceral fat. Now, visceral fat causes a whole lot of problems because it leads to marked increases in inflammation. There are specific inflammatory cytokines like interleukin-6 that increase the more visceral fat that a person has. And when you have these toxic cytokines, or these inflammatory cytokines, they cause inflammation not just within the fat, but all over the body. And that increases all sorts of disease. As you know, inflammation, oxidative stress is the leading cause of over 200 different diseases, as we know from the ABC investigative report. So this visceral fat also decreases adiponectin, and adiponectin is indirectly associated with how big a person is, how fat a person is. So the higher the adiponectin levels are, generally the thinner the person is. And adiponectin has some very beneficial effects. That combined with leptin, which is another one of these hormones, can actually help decrease or eliminate type 2 diabetes if they're present in high enough quantities. This toxic visceral fat also increases cortisol, which causes a vicious circle and leads to even more fat storage. It increases insulin resistance, it increases blood sugar levels, and as I said, it acts as an endocrine organ because there's multiple peptides that have cardiovascular and metabolic effects that are formed when you have this toxic visceral fat, and it increases sympathetic nervous system activity. So obviously there's health risks associated with obesity. Many of them are listed on this page. Increased risk of cancer, heart disease, obviously type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, stroke, bone and joint problems, and even erectile dysfunction. Some other problems that come with obesity, deep venous thrombosis, blood clots in the legs, decreased mobility, sleeping and breathing problems, social discrimination, fewer employment opportunities, shorter lifespan. And even Hippocrates, way back when, identified the fact that people who are overweight or fat have a higher risk of sudden cardiac death. And there's a number of reasons for that, not just arrhythmias, but also sleep disordered breathing like sleep apnea. So we talked about some of the inflammation and oxidative stress markers that are elevated when you have that toxic visceral fat. This leads to, and when you have that toxic visceral fat that leads to all of this inflammation, that causes oxidation of the fatty acids. And I preach this whenever I give cardiology talks. It's not just how high your LDL cholesterol is, it's how much of that LDL cholesterol is oxidized, because it's the oxidized LDL that causes plaques to form in the walls of arteries. And when you have too much visceral fat and you have increased inflammation throughout your body, you're going to have more of that oxidation of the fatty acids that is going to lead to plaque formation in your arteries. So the other thing that obesity does is it increases oxidative stress, leading to a decrease in the antioxidant enzymes like SOD catalase and glutathione that we all know about because of NRF2 that are important. So it increases oxidative stress. If you look at the risks associated with obesity and overweight, you can see that basically the higher your BMI, the higher your risk of type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and cardiovascular disease. So what can weight loss result in? There's studies that actually show this: increased intelligence, better self-esteem, better sleep, improved health, better sex, and more money. And if you look at diabetics in particular, a reduction in weight from a BMI of 33.5 to 27.7 correlates to a 25% reduction in overall mortality. This is better than any drug that you can take, just losing weight. So we really, really need to do a better job of getting that message out to people. Now, the other thing that's interesting is NRF2 activation has been found to be an aid in weight loss as well, and there are many studies out there now that have actually shown this. So do you guys know a way that you can activate NRF2? Yes, I think you do. I think you probably know the answer to that. Here's another study showing the same thing. Now, let's get into the probiotics and why they are important in a weight management system. So there's been a huge increase in the research going on with probiotics right now, looking at not just weight management, but a number of different diseases, recognizing that the bacteria in our intestines are not there, by chance. There's a reason why they're there. Those bacteria are living organisms. They produce proteins, and our bodies actually can utilize those proteins. If they're good, they cause beneficial effects in our body. If they're bad, they cause negative effects in our body. So we want to have the right bacteria in our intestines so we get the positive effects, right? Well, this was a study through the National Institutes of Health that looked at the effect of specific types of bacteria in probiotics and the effect that they had on the immune system and subsequently on weight loss. And in this particular study, they found that this one particular bacteria increased the T helper cell activity, improved immune function, and by doing so, decreased inflammation and oxidative stress, leading to better weight reduction. And so here's the slide that many of you guys have seen before. I showed this in Nashville in 2016. This was a rat study, obviously. And what they did is they had two groups. They had the control chow group, and then they had the fast food chow group. And I'm not sure what the fast food chow group was, if they had little pellets of French fries or potato chips or something. But when they gave these animals whatever kind of food, regular food or fast food, but they gave them this one particular bacteria as a probiotic, you can see what happened. I mean, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? Even though they were eating exactly the same food as these other animals, that probiotic, that bacteria, actually protected them from getting fat. Now, why is that? It's been theorized that a number of things happen, but one of the things may be that this particular bacteria may prevent the absorption of certain fats and carbohydrates that these mice were eating, or that these rats were eating. So having the right bacteria in your gut plays a major role in your ability to lose weight and maintain that weight reduction. There's a project going on right now at the National Institutes of Health called the Human Microbiome Project. That's where they're looking at the effect that all of these different bacteria have on specific diseases and health, weight management, and so forth. And over the next several years, we'll see more and more of these studies coming out showing the beneficial effects of certain bacteria and the negative effects of other. And I think that what that's going to do is lead to a massive increase in the usage of probiotics, particularly in the preventive world. Now, the particular probiotic that we have with Lifevantage also has another component in it called Wellmune, which is an immune enhancer. It's been shown to reduce the severity and the duration of upper respiratory tract infections. It's been shown to improve mood in stressed individuals and improve overall allergy symptoms, physical health, well-being, and so forth. And this is a nice thing to have added to our probiotic. The other interesting thing about our probiotic is it has a system called BioTract, which is a little cellulose encasement so the organisms can make it through the stomach acid and get delivered to the intestines where they're supposed to be. Most probiotics, 95% of the organisms are killed in the stomach by the stomach acid. But with our BioTract system, we get 60% of the organisms actually delivered to the intestines where they're supposed to be. Now, some people talk about fat burning, and this is one way you can do it. Probably not the right way to do it. There are better ways. So how can you burn fat? You can stay off the scale, number one. We'll talk about that in a moment. Reduce calories gradually. Vary your caloric intake, weight training, interval training. Eat more good fats. There's a book out right now by Mark Hyman. It's called Eat Fat, Get Lean. And he goes into why all the good fats are important if you're trying to lose weight. Cutting carbs, increasing protein intake, and eating 6 smaller meals a day. All of these things will help burn fat. So what's the difference between fat loss versus weight loss? Well, with weight loss, you actually decrease muscle mass as well as fat, and water causes decreased fitness, decreased strength, poor performance, early aging, and reduced immunity. Whereas when you reduce fat only and not muscle and water, you improve fitness, you have greater strength, increase your peak performance, you delay aging, and you reduce the risk of diabetes. Now, if you look at the pictures on the right side of the screen, you can see a picture. This is the same woman, 3 different weights, but this woman is actually burning fat and exercising. So even though her weight increases, losing that fat actually trims her down and gives her that nice physique that people are looking for. And then beneath that, you can see the difference between what 5 pounds of fat looks like and 5 pounds of muscle. So even though they're the same weight, the density of the muscle is much greater. So that's what gives that trim physique that everybody's looking for. Now, there's a couple of ways you can get a 6-pack if you're a guy. And this slide shows those 2 options. And obviously, you want to use the one on the left, right? And this is me in the morning when I'm going to my workout, right? How I feel when I want to have ripped abs, but I love food too much. So we all struggle in some way, shape, or form. Now, in the fat burn product, there are 2 specific ingredients, and I want to talk to you about these and tell you how it is they work to help reduce fat, okay? The first is something called Svetol. This is a patented product, and it's from a green tea extract that's high in chlorogenic acid. And this can actually reduce glucose and insulin levels, and it can be a significant boost to weight and fat loss. So if you look at this particular slide, it shows that the Svetol actually helps to maintain muscle mass and more preferentially help reduce fat. And we can go into great detail on this, but because of lack of time, we're not going to go into that right now. And I don't know who's writing all over my thing, but please stop. Thank you. And then the other component of our fat burn is Sinotrol. And this is a citrus-based polyphenolic supplement that has a lipolytic effect. And what that means is it actually helps to break up the fat cells, release the free fatty acids so your body can get rid of them. Now, this is going to work best if you take it 30 minutes before your 2 largest meals of the day, and it's going to work even better if you exercise following that. Okay, that's going to help clear those free fatty acids out of your system better. Now, if you look at the study that was done on Sinotrol, you'll see that the placebo group versus the Sinotrol group, the treatment group, there was more weight reduction, obviously, in the Sinotrol group. There was actually no weight reduction in the placebo group in this 12-week study. But more importantly, there was significantly more fat loss with the Sinotrol than in the placebo group. And this is really what it is that we're looking for. We want to lose that fat, maintain the muscle mass. So the 2 components in our fat burn product really help us to do that in a very, very effective way. So if you look at the conclusions of this study, the body fat decreased 5.3% after 4 weeks, 15.6% after 12. Body weight decreased 5.2 kilos after 12 weeks. It inhibited PDE4, which counters diet-induced diabetes. Waist circumference was decreased. You can see the difference there. Hip circumference was decreased. Abdominal fat was decreased. CRP levels, which is a marker of inflammation, decreased and actually increased in the non-treatment group. And oxidative stress decreased. You can see the difference there. So all of these are very positive, beneficial things that you want to have happen when you're losing weight. So this is the right way to lose weight, by burning fat and maintaining that muscle mass. Now, one of the questions that comes up frequently with the fat burn is, what about the grapefruit? Well, this is a question that comes from people who are taking medications where grapefruit may interact or interfere with the function of those medications. But the ingredient or the chemical that's responsible for this interaction is called furanocoumarins, and it's not present in significant quantities in our product to have any meaningful drug interactions. So we don't really need to worry about that if people ask. And so don't be a fat cat. Get on the treadmill, do your exercise, eat right, and take the appropriate supplements, including probiotics and the fat burn, so that you can maintain a very, very healthy, active body and lifestyle. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Michelle.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Mark. So would you say that the probiotic is something that we should probably be taking just like Nerf 1, Nerf 2, and Axial for the rest of our lives?
Absolutely. And even if you're not trying to lose weight, it's got so many other beneficial effects from a GI standpoint. And Michelle is an expert on that. She loves to talk about poop. So
hey, we all know that it matters. And I will say that I have had massive results with our probiotic. And if I have to be that person that is the weird one out there sharing these experiences and talking about it, I am happy to do so, because it really matters, you guys. It matters to have that area of your body working well. Your gut health, Mark, is how important.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I have been so happy with the results that I've had as well.
Yes, I mean, it's so exciting. And so once again, just get everybody on these products, you guys. I'm constantly blown away by the results and by people staying consistent with it. And so follow up with people and educate them on what we have. Don't just get them on them and leave them out there just to figure it out on their own. Drip on them and let them know little bits and pieces here and there about the products that they're taking, so that they maintain on these products, so that they can have awesome, incredible success and just be as lively as they can be for the rest of their life. So thank you so much, Dr. Mark. We will get this recording out as soon as it's available, and have a wonderful evening. Get registered for the after party at Elite Academy. Get registered for Denver Elite Academy if you're not, and we will see you there. Thank you for your time, Dr. Mark, and thank you everybody that joined us tonight. Let's go do this.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.